Soon as we step on the mic, man, you notice the difference. Heavenly blessed with the melanin, baby, you know that we winning. No time for the long talk, got 120 on the clock. Wednesday, 8 through 10, all the bad vibes better stop. Cause you gotta come with that energy. Casual combos, baby, come down and just sit with me. Lil' Coco be spitting that remedy. Casual combos, baby, come down and just sit with me. You better take this shit serious. She dropping knowledge on head and it's free for the play. Tap in right now if you curious. We got the ham radio going lit every A. We go from people to family to pilots. Stay with me if you got something to say. You know it's important if we go acknowledge. Speak on the business and get out the way. What you gonna say about my mama? She winning, you rockhead.
Hello, welcome to the Casual Convo Show, where we have conversations about topics that affect the communities, personal and business relationships. We always have the casual convo, so you don't have to have the tough convo. I'm your host, Coco, and joining me this week is the lovely Jude. And we also have Paul. We are missing one. He's at work, but we're going to do something special for him. So, Q, we miss you. Hurry up and come back. But he's
Q, we
working.
miss you.
He get the pass. He working. Hello.
Hey, y'all.
Q. Stop that paper, Q.
Right, he gotta get it. I never made a nobody for making that money. Ever. So I guess we got a lot to talk about. So I guess we're gonna start with the mental health check-in. I'll go first. Me personally, I think my mental health is okay. This week has been a lot. You know, it's been some tragic family stuff. You know, personal things, friends, family, and all that. But I think managing it well, I'll get more into it when we get to that topic of what certain things are important. But overall, I'm okay.
I'm fine. Work has been working. All I can say. Life is great. Life is only what I'm making it. So I'm making it something. I'm doing something with it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Hey there. Another day above ground. I can't complain. So my mental health is pretty good. Why am I echoing? Do I have my phone up too loud? Okay, there you go. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I muted myself because that might have been it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm pretty good. It's been a challenging week thus far. Interesting and challenging, but hey, I love it. Glad to be here again for another Wednesday. I think I missed the last one. I said, damn, what the heck? Do I have to put up a disclaimer for that? Because I said, damn. But damn, I missed the show last week. I was kind of hot, too. But hey, we're back again this week, so let's do it.
No, I had some personal stuff going on last week. But before we get started, we're going to start with a disclaimer because we have some video footage as well. So copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit education or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So we are doing researching and discussion and education, okay? Okay. So, y'all ready?
Always.
All right. Okay. Let me
Is there any comment on the defense appropriations bill, sir?
Excuse me, Senator. My name is Stella. I want to ask, do you support ICE taking working people off the streets and kidnapping them?
First of all, let's unpack this. Mitch McConnell is 83 years old. Why is he still active in the Congress? There's several things wrong with this video. Yes, I did. I chuckled. I cackled a little bit because this is my thing. First of all, he should be chilling, retired at this age. Even listening to him speak it's hard to watch. It's like secondhand embarrassment. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on the video, one, and then I also wanted to discuss like, should there be a cutoff? Period. At 83, you should not be still trying to hold his feet and do all of these other things. They shouldn't even let him walk by himself. Period. He should have been in a chair or something because he looked like he can't, like his balance is off. You want me?
I say I'm gonna let Paul go first. My mom said if you ain't got nothing nice to say, you shouldn't say nothing at all. I will say this. I will ask this. Is this the reason why they are trying? Is the older Republicans the reason why they are trying to force the working class people to work until we are around that age? Because I agree with Coco. At that age, you should not still be. I don't think you should be working. I think you should be at home relaxing, celebrating, probably being a grandparent, if not celebrating life in general, celebrating being in your 80s, in my opinion. But it's also scary because where was the mind frame of his generation of people 80 years ago?
Yeah. Where's the return to now in his mind?
So
he back in them days right now, stumbling.
Yeah, you feel me? And then so no offense, I'm not trying to be funny. The news just said that all what is it, Alzheimer's or dementia, one of them is at an all-time high. And I'm not saying the man has it, but I'm just saying where was the people mind frame at his when 80 years ago? Because I'm pretty sure that's where his mind frame is right now. I feel sorry that the man fell. A fall at that age most older people don't survive hip fractures and hip replacements.
His mind frame, I don't even think he know what his mind frame was 80 years ago. Because did you see how he got up and wait? You are not okay. Nothing about nothing was okay. Have you ever seen him in a Congress session and he gets up to speak and he go, that's what he do. He'll be talking and then he'll just pause and he go, huh. And then sir, you don't even need to be up there.
And I don't want to say, I don't like, the crazy part is, we live in a sensitive America right now, right? Sensitive world, period, because the world is sensitive. So I don't want to sound like I have any hate towards the elderly, because I was raised to respect my elders. But I will say this, I do not want to be his age working.
Say Disney on Ice.
I don't want to be his age working. And you are making a decision. The question was, do he agree with ICE snatching and kidnapping people off the street? He think he should get up and go to work every morning. So you damn right he think that they should be doing that. And the Lord knew his ass was not going to answer that question the way he needed to answer it. That's why his ass tripped the fuck out of him. See how the Lord working was.
They knew he wasn't going to answer. They knew he wasn't going to answer the question. That's why he fell on his own. But the thing is, let's get back to this working. They want everybody to work that age. No, what they want is for them in that Congress to work to that age, because they got that absolute power where they control shit like they doing now and getting paid for it while everybody else is getting shitted on. That's what they want. That's how come they don't come up out of that. They need to have a 2-year term, just like the two 4-year terms, like the president, and then get your ass up out of there. These people getting there, like you said, 80 years ago. This mother man, he been there. What? He been there since he's damn near in his 30s or 40s. Motherfucker, you 83 years old, 43 years up there running shit. And now your ass done got so old that you can't even talk. You can't even walk.
Yeah.
They don't want you
wanna be
talking.
relaxing.
They got that man juiced up because they don't want him talking. Because they know he ain't coherent. Let's keep Mitch juiced up and keep him in here getting him paid. Keep his constituents up there happy. Keep his old useless ass around. Because you say he should be retired. No, he should be euthanized. It's time for you to be gone. I mean, period, man. They need to, all them old white men, all them are old Republicans. And the thing is, you got old Democrats as well. And none of them want to come in there and change that law where they had to get their ass up out of there after 8 years. None of them, because they love that power.
So how do y'all feel about them wanting to extend the age of retirement for all American citizens? So
They
they want
don't care. That man fell. You see how? First of all, that man fell on TV. You feel me?
He's
And
Coach Caesar.
his position ain't enough for as long as they can do it, we can do it. That's how they feel. Now the question is, why do you want? Well, we know why, because Paul just explained it. But why would you want to? Why? You know, that's the one thing about our people. We don't want to do that. We may have to ruffle some feathers up in there, but Jesus.
Mary and Joseph.
And another thing about older folks are like toddlers. No offense. They keep it real and tell the truth. They don't have time for all the extra shit. So if they do have him sedated, it's probably to keep him either on that side or keep his mouth closed. Because he probably ain't with that shit and he probably against it, or he probably all the way with that shit and he talking on some shit from them other times.
But guess
life.
what though? Guess what though? He didn't start getting silence until after he had said something about something he wasn't agreeing with what Trump and them was doing or something. Then that's when he started being able to talk.
Yeah, it's called elderly abuse. They do that. We say that they put it in the movies.
Yeah, they done did something to poor Mitch. But that's Mitch. You need to go get his ass on the body. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what anyone done to him.
They cloned him like they cloned Tyrone.
Yeah, he's still the same rotten motherfucker he always was. Excuse my language. I disclaim that I said the mother. But he's still the same rotten fucker he was when he got in there.
But he also, I think, what we also experiencing is how people age. What's happening to him is what naturally happens. He's 83. There's no way someone 83 should be still, not even just in the government, but still working. When do you what are you doing? And then as you can see, he looked like he didn't even know where he was. He always looked lost. And at this point, it's like I don't even understand the logic of still having him there. Like at this point, it's like even if he's like, I'm okay, like what kind of cognitive test is he passing? Like, did y'all see how he fell in slow motion?
Yeah.
Like, what cognitive test are you passing that you can still work? And then, yeah, like it's embarrassing. It's not a good look.
The way they was ushering that man out of there, he looked like he was kidnapped. He looked like they was taking him back to lock him in a room because that's what it looked like. So to be honest, I'm learning not to judge a book by its cover because you never know with the Trump and the Two Live crew. ISIS. You never know with them, they just do the government. I don't trust them, but he just look on the other side. He looked like he could have been because he was walking. He looked like a frail old man that didn't know where he was, and they was asking him questions. He probably thought she was talking about if he wanted some ice in a cup.
Now there's ice picking up people. Picking
Like
You know,
they had him. It was like straining shit, and it was like, I'm like,
yeah,
what
good day,
going
yeah,
on?
they would just laying there like, up on the ground, man down, pimping distress. And they was, first of all, shout out to everybody in there that did not laugh. Everybody in there that didn't laugh. Because when you do bad shit happens. And he, they stand up for a cause. And for you to bust your ass in front of people and not answer their question at the same time, he should have just got up and said yes or no. Yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree. Fuck that. I'm
he had
sorry,
that
man.
silly ass grin on his face, and I don't know what the hell he said, but he didn't answer the question. He walked the hell on off. Well,
Yeah.
ain't he from Kentucky? Don't he represent Kentucky? And whatever happened to that black guy from Kentucky that he was probably backing back when they was doing the election time? What was it?
They probably
Damn,
got rid
wasn't he an attorney general or something up there in Kentucky, and Mitch was backing him and all that stuff? I mean, he didn't disappear like the rest of them, but I can't remember. He had a white wife, and I can't remember. But anyhow, we are in trouble as long as these old ass people want to stay in power.
Yeah, man.
And see, they fighting hard to keep the young people, especially with this redistricting, redrawing the districts and all that shit. Lord, they just voted to prove that shit here in North Carolina because they said they want to do that for Trump. That's what they said on the news. They didn't hide it or nothing. They said we want to do this for Trump because that's what he asked to be done. The way I'm seeing things right now. I might be wrong, but with 7 million people out here hitting these streets against what y'all doing, I don't believe all them people were Democrats. I don't believe all them people were liberals. I believe a lot of them people were Republicans, and they pissed off because they didn't know they was gonna be getting shitted on.
Mm-hmm.
They thought Teflon and Donnie was gonna get in there and take care of them because hey, we good old Republicans. And now they feeling the pinch. They feeling what we've been feeling for years, ages, and they feeling the pinch. So yeah, they getting out there. So you go ahead and redraw your districts. I still think they're gonna vote some of y'all's asses up out of there. I truly believe this because you're hurting too many people just because y'all don't want to give people insurance, health care, all that shit. Keep people fed and stuff. But you're supposed to be one of the richest damn countries in the world and you can't provide free health care to your citizens. Nobody's talking about the illegal people, to your citizens.
J-Bed said, when do they retire from Congress, right?
When they die.
The vote Tory don't never retire from Congress. The vote Tory,
When
they
they
stay
die.
there forever. They just be up there. They be just sitting there like
looking stupid.
they
When they
they
die.
don't retire. We need the Cullens and Jacob and the Wolves to come out and help us with this because to be honest, it just seems like they don't like even the Supreme Court judge. They was on there for a long time. We ain't get like knew some of them until recent, and it was because somebody died.
Yeah. Them
Like
motherfuckers
somebody died. That's usually how that
Because when you look at the Congress, like when you look at like the Senate, like when you watch the sessions, if you look, it's just a bunch of older, and I'm not trying to have like ageism, it's like older men like Mitch McConnell, and they all sit together, and they do have this antique ideology of how the country should run. I really think there should be fresher minds, and like more so with the times. And I think that's why there's so much like back and forth. So anybody that can feed that old school ideology, they're for it. And that's probably why we're dealing with now.
Yeah, the problem with that though is they raised generations of that because their vice president, baby, he ain't old. You feel me? He ain't old, and this other is people in that age range too. You feel me? Like
They bunch of
no
Republicans.
offense to the generations before the millennials, but it kind of cuts off at the millennials. It's still there, but it changes right there from the millennials forward. It's changing. You know, it was still there, but I feel like it's from that generation on. Is no offense to all the generations before, but it's some people in y'all and them generations before that that's still kind of stuck in that shit too, because they was raised under that. And you still even got some people that's, you know, in the millennials, that's like the early millennials. What they call it, somebody called us the elder millennials. Those are the ones that's born in like the 80s, the 80 millennials. I was like, elder millennial, what the fuck is that? Us 40 and above millennials. Some of us was raised up, you know, off of some of that hate, you know, but over time, you know, because it wasn't as blunt throughout, like that shit starting to be thrown. It was like it was still around, but it was like hitting in the corners in certain places, depending on where you lived. You know, I live in Baltimore. A lot of people, you know, don't know that in the 90s it was still some white only places here in Baltimore City. While y'all showing us the wire and everybody showing the bad of the black, everybody forgot about the other side of Baltimore City. Like, you feel me? So I feel like moving forward, you know, it's a lot of people that ain't with it. But them generational bred people on racism, black and white, because that's also starting to be another thing talked about, the how racist black people are, you know, and racism period, I feel like is causing divide.
Well, I mean, you gotta realize it's always been existing since the beginning of time. They say it hadn't, but since the beginning of time, it's always been racism. Especially as soon as the motherfuckers escaped them damn caves. It got bad then. Real bad. But anyway, that's another subject for another show. Okay.
Okay. Do we have anything else on that?
About Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, like I said, he needs to be euthanized. That's something I can think.
I
Him
keep
and a whole
thinking
bunch
he's saying the
of
B word. Itch. I keep thinking he said Itch McConnell. You know, the with the B in front of it.
Yeah. I leave my teeth out on purpose so it can sound crazy. Yeah, bitch
No, not
McConnell.
because of that. Not because of that.
Speaking of all of this, I think it's also important. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and merge our next topic into this. I think it falls into the realm of people and their mental health. So, do we have anything else on this one before I introduce the next topic?
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody has seen the Gucci Mane interview. I felt like it was a great interview. It was very eye-opening, insightful. I think it brought a lot of topics that we need to discuss, like, period. I gathered a clip just to give some insight in case anyone haven't seen it, and I kind of want to touch on it and have a conversation about it. So let's check it out.
What was it like just trying to protect the business that you guys have built while
I have a
he's
system.
personally?
I take his apps off his phone. First
Mhm.
thing I do, I delete Instagram. I delete everything. Even if I got to change his password, I'm changing it because
Yeah.
I don't need the public to know he's having an episode.
Mhm.
You realize you'd never know about any other episodes since September 13th
yeah.
because I control that. Because you're not going on Instagram, you're not going on Twitter, it's deleted.
Mhm.
You know, and I just control everything at home. And now before the episodes come, I catch it. So that's why he hasn't had another one. And how you catch that is he doesn't speak to you. He wants to be left alone. He don't eat. He does not sleep. Text messages, there's a period after each word. And I'm like, you're going through an episode. You're sick. No, I'm not. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Why do you think that? You're not speaking to me. Well, there's nothing to talk about. I said, well, that's not how you speak to your wife. And I'm like, you're sick. And we snap out of it right then.
Wow. You know, we heard Kim this week say how Kanye just used to give away their cars and stuff when he would go through episodes. And in the book, you talk about
I did
He
that.
did.
you just used to be giving away stuff.
He
I,
did.
I gave away jewelry.
Money.
And
Jewelry
money,
cost so
yeah.
much. You know how
Money.
much it costs for
Mhm,
jewelry?
mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I would give my friends jewelry, and like Like they know I went well, they'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
They
That's
take
why,
advantage
like,
of you.
I felt like, damn, they know something's going on with me, but they'll take it. So it's like, when I got out of jail, like I cut off all my friends, my old friends. I'm like, damn, they were taking advantage. Like,
I wonder what the psychology is behind that. Like, why when you going through an episode, you feel
give away money and I don't know.
You don't care
You're not
about
in your
nothing.
mind because the money don't. It's not. You kind of like in a warped world. It's almost like it's a psychosis. You know what I'm saying? It's not. You dealing with stuff like you hearing voices.
Yeah, they have voices.
You know, and you hearing voices too. Like it's telling you to. You know, you might think that Charlamagne I might think that you trying to fight me. You ain't even did nothing. We be like, bro, I ain't did nothing to you. What's wrong? Like I'll be like trying to fight you, Charlamagne. Like you did this. You know what you did? You stole something from me. And you be like, bro, I ain't stole nothing from you. But in my mind, I'm like, it's the truth. So that's what I used to deal with.
How did therapy and the self-work change your relationship with anger? And like, do you still wrestle with that same inner voice that you talk about throughout the book?
I don't. I don't. It's like I seen a therapist. I gotta so taking medicine that prescribed for me, what she thought, and it worked. And I haven't had any other problems.
You know, I always wondered when people have episodes, what sparks it, right? Do you know what sparked the episodes?
I think drug use, stress, not sleeping combined. It wasn't just like, okay, I drank the lean. It was also I'm drinking lean and I had like 5 or 6 charges, open cases. So I was so stressed out. So, you know, I'm going to the studio and work. I got all these artists. I'm steady working hard. You know what I'm saying? So from the outside looking in, you would think that I'm not fazed about it. But it's almost like I pushed the cases out my mind. You see what I'm saying? But it's still a stress. But I'm just not dealing with it. I'm not talking about it. I'm just like acting like it's never gonna happen. Like court not gonna never happen. But that's a big stress. And I'm steady drinking lean, smoking weed, taking pills to kind of numb that. And then one day it's just like the straw that break the camel back. Boom, now my mind can't take it. When I had the episode in 2019, 2020, it was COVID. That really just messed me up. And then another thing what triggered the episode was I got my teeth done and they put me under anesthesia and the drugs messed me up. When I came from under anesthesia, I was having an episode, flipping out. And I'm like, damn, I ain't even do, you know, I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? So even if I go, it's like, damn, I never thought that would be a trigger, but that was a trigger. So it could be a multitude of things.
Gotcha.
For you, what was it like just trying to protect the business that you guys have built while
I have a
he's
system.
personally?
I take his apps off his phone. First thing
I'm sorry. Okay. So let's unpack this. I don't know if you guys have watched the entire interview?
No,
I did.
I thought it was a great interview. It was very insightful. I thought that he was very courageous in being forthcoming with sharing his personal experience, which may be different for a lot of people and how it comes with him, in which some people may be able to resonate. Because think about how many people who are battling it in silence who may not have been treated or may think it's just them. Because some people think nobody understands or they're the only person that's having this experience, right? So I think what some people are missing, even when I read comments about it, is that prior to even when he was younger, he was self-medicating. When he talked about the drug use and things like that, and the voices can be like commanding and demanding while he's saying like, hey, I could just be sitting here thinking you could ready to do something to me. And another thing is like, even though he was famous, he was rich, we looking at like he got everything in his palms, but he was still dealing with something mentally and didn't have the correct support. So like one of the comments said like his friends were robbing him. He's clearly saying in my episodes in Mania, I'm in a whole different world. I'm just giving shit away. So to the person on the receiving end, they don't know that he's schizophrenic because he hasn't shared that. Don't nobody just wear I'm schizophrenic or I'm bipolar, I have anxiety, I have severe depression, I have suicidal thoughts. That's not stamped on someone's forehead. So they probably looking like, oh, my man's got it. So, you know, he's just giving it away. And we oftentimes see that a lot within our own families and communities. But we don't know that person is in the episode because mental health doesn't have a face. But I do like how that interview has brought out a much needed conversation of the importance of mental health. I'm definitely going to get the book. And I want to not only support him, But I would like to see his journey. But I want you guys' thoughts on that part, and then we're going to get into what his wife is like going through on the other end.
One shout out to him for even being able to tell his story, because that's hard for a lot of people to do. Um, happy to see him, doing better with it. Because I remember at one point in time when Gucci was the old Gucci, and then when he was changing to the Gucci that we see today, it was a lot of people saying a lot of negative things about it. You feel me? Like, oh, she changing him, she blah blah. But like people tend to find out, like you never know, these people are human beings like the rest of us. They just, celebrity status or whatever. And yeah, people go through things too. Shout out to her for, being his backbone. And I just want to say this real quick about that, because one thing that when I did watch some of it, I didn't get through the whole thing yet because my phone kept ringing. I was watching the phone. But anyway, I see a lot of men in on these podcasts and things, you feel me? Because this relates to this. It's a lot of women bashing, right? And everybody talk about wanting the strong woman, right? The thing is, right, he needed the exact woman that most men complaining about today. And if it wasn't for her being who she is and as strong as she is as a woman, everything that y'all be despising about us, women, that was exactly what helped him get to the man he is today. But I hear a lot of these. Shout out to her and shout out to him for allowing that woman help him be strong enough to help him. You feel me? Because nobody else was there to do it. But and one of the questions that they asked her was, how did you get through that? And she was like, it was hard. She had to stand up to him, you feel me, and not turn her back on him. Y'all dug women like that. Most of y'all men couldn't even survive one. Y'all wouldn't even know what to do with a woman like that.
And I think also to point out, she was clear that not only did she get backlash from like their surrounding, like even her friends were telling her like she was crazy for sticking by him, because she said even prior to their marriage, he was having episodes and she kept saying he needed someone because he didn't have the support. And I think what's important to take away from that was not only did she not leave, but she educated herself to learn how to take care of him, to learn how to know when an episode is coming. Because even though that's how you can see that he's getting ready to go into an episode, you know how attentive you have to be to your person to notice, okay, he's texting different, he's coming distant, so maybe something's going to happen. Let's nip this in the bud. Whether it's okay, let's call, let's do a therapy session, let's see what's up with these meds. Is he taking the meds? Like, so they have their own regimen, and I'm quite sure it didn't happen overnight. That comes from years of support and her going through that. And I think that's important to say when we see people doing things that we can't understand or have behaviors that we can't understand. Just like I remember, I'm sorry to jump all around, when he got the ice cream tattoo, he spoke on that. He was in an episode, he was being impulsive. So when we see people displaying behaviors that's abnormal, we tend to make jokes and make light of it. When really that person is probably really going through some things. And in that interview, they spoke on that too. But I think it's also important to not only give her flow, because she's catching a lot of backlash. People say, oh no, she just controlling him. She just wants the money. Like, oh, he lost weight. No, he's healthy. And a lot of times, even with Medicaid, yes, your weight changes, but he got his teeth done and all of that stuff. And like he said, the medicine triggered it, but sometimes that's like trial and error. People don't know. And we got to be careful of what we put in our bodies. And like Judah and I had a conversation all the time. The medicine doesn't work for everybody, but it's also important to know this is his journey. Somebody else's journey may be different, but what he did say that stuck out to me was his mental health team got a regimen that works for him to quiet down the auditory hallucinations that he was experiencing. So it's like a lot of things to just take away from that. But I think for anybody who may see that, they're like, oh, I might hear something sometimes, or oh, I might, this may happen now. It's registering to people that maybe think like maybe I just need to be more supportive or get this person help. Or even though they had to like low key kidnap them, maybe I need to do or call and have a wellness check or report it or call a 988 number to have this person at least get an eval. Like, and some people don't know that you can just go to like your ER or something and just get an evaluation there. Depending on that evaluation, maybe you might go home, you might, 72 hours, you might get it, whatever, but it'll be worth it in the long run. So I think it's just important to raise just the whole mental health awareness thing, Fred, because it doesn't have a face. It doesn't just happen to Black people. It doesn't have a race, a ethnicity, a culture. It can appear in everybody. And you're not going to know because even a person who seems all put together could be battling something mentally, and you just never know.
Yeah, and the him for him, taking the care because he had the one to put in the work. She, even though she had his back, it was one of and they talked about how they had to kidnap him. You feel me, and take him to the hospital and stuff like. That takes a team, man. That takes and when he finally, put in the work himself, that shit is dope. I love that for them.
I like that they were brave to tell that story. You know how hard it is for people to speak on mental health because it was another clip that went around. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. It was another clip that went around with T.I. and another guy. It was another breakfast clip, and he was sharing he was being very vulnerable, and they laughed at him, including Charlemagne, who goes through and say all of this stuff about mental health, and it's in where this man is telling you, this is what I was going through. I forgot exactly what it was, but he was having a vulnerable moment, and they definitely laughed at him. You feel me? So, and again, I'm a comment watcher. So a lot of people were saying, well, damn, that wasn't a safe space. And we always talk about safe spaces. Safe space doesn't have a gender. But I think we need to be mindful when somebody has finally the courage, or it's like, I need to pour this out, that we do provide a supporting ear. You may not always know what to say, but sometimes just listening and letting that person get it out is the most important thing. It can mean the world to them and be like helpful instead of them bottling it up. So I definitely, if nobody has seen that interview, I say it's a watch. It was eye opening, and then I think they asked him like, when you see other celebrities, and I knew who they was talking about. And he was like, I'd be wanting to reach out to them or either their team to, say, hey, this is what this person going through. You might want to get them some help, but you don't know how to do it. And a lot of times, let's just be real, a lot of it is also reception. You have some people that don't want those people to get help because they can manipulate it. They know something that's going on and they can manipulate it. But at the same time, he's putting it out there to say, we can talk about this because of his stature. And then he can reach a different audience of people too, because through his music, who look up. So, but something else that stood out to me was when he's in his episodes and they talked about this tweet rant he went in, and he was in the episode and they were saying how the fans and the supporters and the media was like, yeah, we embrace negativity because he was going at people, hard, saying some hurtful things and disrespectful things. And he said it himself, like, when I snap out of it, I'm embarrassed. Like, he was trying to call people to apologize because he wasn't in his right frame of mind. But it also says a lot about us as media and public and people, how quick we are to support negativity. But soon as this man get healthy and he's maintaining his mental health and has some stability, we call them clones. We talking about him. It's something gotta be wrong instead of just celebrating that he's in a better space mentally.
Okay, so now I watched the whole video interview, and I noticed, oh Lord, so much in this video, this interview. I keep saying video, but it was the video. And the first thing I noticed was everybody has a mental capacity limit. Some just don't have stronger ones as some, or some might have stronger ones than others, something like that. And at some point, way or another, everybody experiences episodes. It might not be as severe as what he was going through, but we all experience some kind of type of little episodes during our mental capacity overloads. So now, I'm going to try to keep this in order. Shout out to his wife first, because in the position that he was in, being the superstar Gucci man, and the man that was holding up the city and all this good stuff, throwing the bling bling around, leaning, drinking the lean and all that good stuff. He didn't have nobody around him to tell him, hey, slow down, man, hold it in the road. Everybody around him was yes men. So his wife, when he finally trusted her enough to ask her to step in, she stepped in and done what those around him didn't. So let's shout her out first. Okay, now, there's something else I want to point out before I get to talking about him specifically, and that is when he's telling Charlamagne that, hey, I could think that you trying to jump on me, I could jump on your ass right now, and you're not trying to do nothing. And Charlamagne bust out laughing. Whoever else was over there, they started laughing too. I didn't feel that too much, because there was no laughing matter. There's some real shit that you should have been paying attention to. So I really looked down on that part right there. But now, back to Gucci.
Mm-hmm. He did tell him that.
Yeah, so now back to Gucci. He says, I was drinking lean, popping pills, doing all this stuff. Nobody around him, the people they had around him, there was no way in the world for them to know that this man was going through the shit that he's going through, because he's keeping it concealed. So they basically they're on for the ride, because like you see, nobody done nothing. Like his wife said, nobody done nothing while he's locked up. So now they around him just for the ride. So there ain't no way in the world they gonna pay attention to this. Hey, oh, he doing this. We live in large. Going down that path like that alone, keeping it hid from everybody, that takes a whole lot of strength, because you know you're going through some shit, and there's nobody that you can trust enough. He said finally when he went to jail, and he wasn't around that lean and all that good stuff. He said he seen that nobody was there for him. Nobody could trust. They fucked up his money. He had to turn to his wife, which I feel he should have turned to from the jump. But, they got it together. He turned to his wife and said, I'm going to give you this money because I don't have nobody else to trust. This woman stood by him while he's down with his money. She flipped his money. Oh, la, 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 la. I heard all that shit too. I didn't get caught up in that shit because, hey, I've been locked up and I know how that shit go. But yeah, she flipped that money for him. She stood by him. When he said, I want to change and get some help, she didn't say, hey, you sure? She said, hey, let's do it. He finally, after getting away from that lean and all the touring and all that stuff, the bullshit, where he could get his mind straight for a minute, reached out to his wife and got the help that he was missing. The companionship, the partnership, all that stuff. The better for the worse. The worse for the better, how that goes, because I ain't never been married, but the vow. He got all that from her. She stuck with him. She worked with him through it. Episode. I know it gotta be hard because she say when they go through the episode, the shit usually lasts for 2 weeks. after. So that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot of time to be dealing with somebody in between. You don't know that. She said sometimes he be feeling like he might be all right, getting better. I think he all right. Then he go back into it. So I'm saying the up and down, the roller coaster of that. The roller coaster of that. It's got to take a good person to stand with you through that, because that's got to be a hell of a ride.
Yeah, no amount of money.
And for him to be where he's at now, talking about that, because look how long he kept that concealed. Like she said, nobody know that he had that last episode since what, September or something. I can't remember the dates too good, but she said it was September.
September
Yeah.
3rd. She made sure he ain't have another public one. That's what
Yeah, yeah. So nobody knew if he had one or not, because it wasn't public. But I'm saying he looked good. Like you said, he's healthy. He's not dealing with all that stress. The stress. He's not dealing with all that stress. But I'm gonna tell you what. He said himself on that verses with Jeezy. If Jeezy would have done the strap, you better stay strapped song. That he don't know how he would have responded. He probably would have flipped into the episode. It might have been the next episode. So he's glad, but he said he's matured. You know, they talked about it. So I'm glad to see that squash, because hey, y'all grown ass men. And what you done then, you apologize to everybody for all that foul shit that you said during that period of time where you got, I can't fathom what that man went through, what he's going through. I'm just saying, hey, more power to her. More power to him. And thank God that you got a woman that loves you that much and enough to see you through that, my brother. That's all I can say.
And I think it's also important to note, like, we probably see people self-medicating every day. Like, most people get high because them voices can be crazy. I wish everybody could take a class. I remember I had to go through that when you deal with, especially when you take like psych courses, or you're going to like care for people with like psych issues, and you wear the headphones and you have to wear them consistently, of how it is for them. And to hear some of the things that their voices could possibly be saying, because it's enough to drive you crazy. Just imagine somebody saying, "Oh, you're ugly," or "They can ready fuck you up," or you know what I mean, something, and it's nonstop. That's auditory hallucination. So now they start to believe the voices, and then when we see people like talking to themselves and doing all of this, instead of judging or making a mockery or posting it on social freaking media, call it in, get that person some help. But more importantly, what he spoke on is he had to deal with substance abuse because he was suffering. That's a whole nother realm. Because now you got the psych and then you have the substance. And a lot of time, even though they're different, they go hand in hand. So when you have people who are using substance and then they have like a mental health, that's a whole different type of treatment. So not only you got to deal with withdrawals, you got to deal with the voices, you got to deal with so much stuff. I thoroughly commend them for sharing this story and bringing light to all of this. Like, because some people couldn't fathom, but what I dislike is people still saying, "Oh, that's a clone, that's not Gucci." No, this is a person who wasn't able to self-acknowledge, but with the assistance, and it's powerful to show what support looks like and what it can do for a person. She flipped his money. He came home to somebody because he didn't have anybody. But more importantly, she made sure he's having mental stability.
Exactly.
And that's what everybody's missing. Whether she has to be somewhat controlling, because I'm like, oh, she just controlling, she just want to do that. She has to be somewhat controlling to make sure he's going to his therapy appointments, his psychiatry appointments, his management appointments. He's taking the medicine. She has to be on the lookout to make sure he's not triggered. Because I don't think they were really.
He didn't think the trigger, like he said, going back home to his hometown. So that trigger.
Yes.
Shit.
You just never know.
Buying everybody around him. I mean, cut you off, but buying everybody around him, his little entourage, buying all them lean so everybody could be in the damn back lean and shit. He talk. I got to watch that whole thing, man. And it's just people. It's a whole lot of people that's in that industry that are just regular damn people. All of them regular people, but just regular damn people that's caught up in that shit. They probably deal with the same damn thing. That shit is stressful. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be in the industry. That ain't for me. I don't want to be in nothing like that because that man, he's lucky he made it through because you look where he's from. And he made it up out of there. You done made it through the rap game before it got to this True Live, whatever stuff it is now. You done got in there and out, and they still like your music. You're still relevant. You done calm down. You're living a life. You're being a father. You're being responsible. I mean, God is in the blessing business. That's one thing I will say. And you know, I don't judge people when I see them going through episodes like that because I'll be seeing it. They say, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong. They all right. They're just walking normally." Yeah, but you don't know when the man walking and all of a sudden he talking to somebody that's not there next to him. You don't know what the hell that man is going through when they cussing and stopping, standing there and doing all that. You don't know what the hell they going through. Oh, they on drugs. Maybe so, but yet still you don't know what they're going through. I mean, it's just whew,
Not to cut you off, but a manic episode and a person high can look identical. And I really would like for people to stop thinking a person is just high. Granted they could possibly be, but a lot of times psychosis can look like that, and people think that that's what's going on.
right.
But even more importantly, outside of the rich and all of that stuff, we have family members, friends, just people around us who suffer daily. And I think we do have to provide support. And I think what that show is ways that we can be supportive and get people help that may need it. I mean, even in the comments, we had someone that said they had to tap their friend with a car to get them, to the hospital because they were in the streets, and it's psychosis. And a lot of times people don't understand when people are in mania and psychosis, they have they don't know what they're doing. And people be like, they know what they're doing. No, they don't. And I want people to stop saying that. And that's why they wilding out and they doing a lot of stuff, the legit ones, So it's like, stop thinking that because they don't. And a lot of times when people get the help that they really need and become mentally stable, they have no recollection of any actions. That's why you see some people that do things in psychosis. For instance, the black lady that stabbed that 3-year-old boy walking around a supermarket in Ohio, walking around a supermarket with a butcher knife. Nobody said anything. Nothing. So that's like me walking around just swinging a butcher knife, talking shit. She's clearly bad shit crazy because I watched the trial. Bad shit crazy from the video. Nobody did anything, and she killed the kid. You feel me? Like things that we ignore, and we ignore so fucking much, but we got so much to say, but we don't talk about the right shit. We don't do the right things, and we always talk about what we need. What we need to do is be more supportive. And remember, like, I know the back in the day thing is like really cliche, but one thing we're missing is community. And part of community is support. Instead of making a mockery out of somebody that needs fucking help, call that shit in. You ain't gotta do nothing. You ain't gotta say nothing. You can call. You can call star 988. You can call which is the crisis hotline. You can call 311. You can call 911. Whatever it is in your city, and just say, "Hey, there's a person I think need help." They will come and do what they gotta do. You might save somebody's life. Not only that person, but somebody else. There are really important conversations that we need to have. And if somebody is reaching out to you, listen to that person. Don't laugh at them and dismiss it or think we whatever.
Can I say something about that?
Mm-hmm.
That is why we need the government funding, because the country is at an uproar and shit is happening and people is losing their mind. and people are having, you know, a hard time with coping, and people with mental illness, you know, deal with it worse than a person of sound mind, as you said. I guess is what you call them. And without the proper government funding and proper health care, these people are going to be on the streets. Which brings me to my next point I wanted to make real quick. That's what they want, though. Total chaos. They want people who want help and want to manage their mental health to not manage it and be out here, you know, unmedicated, because that's what they're going to be when they don't have health care and can't afford it. And not only the poor suffer from mental illness. You ever seen a rich person lose everything?
Mm-hmm.
It makes the news all the time.
Yeah.
It'd be like total wipeouts. So mental health is not nothing to play with, and I'm glad to see more people taking it serious. I want to say something, but I don't want to sound, you know, because one thing that I took out the part of the interview that I saw was, excuse me, y'all, because I belched. Was, you know, him talking about the different person he was when he was manic. When they talked, referred to, you know, like he wasn't himself, he was somebody else, right? And he was a person of influence. And think about the type of, you know, when you not yourself, you know, you doing irrational things and people looking up to that. You end up in the White House making horrible decisions in front of everybody, lying, telling us that, you know, you went to the doctors and they said, you know,
that you're fine.
That you got the mind frame of a toddler. But yeah, back on all seriousness, like I commend him for because he's not the first one. Remember when Jennifer Lewis did? She wrote a book, and you know, a lot of people just look at her like it's just loud.
They talked about her too, and
and
I hate the public sometimes because when people are telling you their experience to bring awareness, we make a mockery or say they want some bullshit.
Because another thing, a lot of people, like when you in the spotlight and you dealing. I'm sorry, I got the munchies. But anyway, you in the spotlight and you dealing with, you know, and you got people looking up to you. People follow those type of follow your behaviors. Think about it, culture. Everybody want to do what they see and all that stuff. You feel me? So I'm glad he speaking up because somebody idolizes him. People, grown men idolize him. So he probably encouraged somebody else to go and get the help they need.
Let me ask y'all this question here. This might be a little bit before y'all's time.
I've been here before.
Well, what do y'all think about the situation that was with Mike Tyson when he was with Robin Givens on the Barbara Walters thing? When he's talking about he's manic depressive and all that and everything. Do y'all believe he was having mental health and issues, and was they backing him, or was she trying to milk him like everybody is saying, or what was going on? How y'all feel about that now, looking at this right here?
She was definitely in it for the money. However, what I don't like is the comparison that they're doing with Robin Givens and Mike Tyson to Keisha Kaur and Gucci Mane.
No, they shouldn't compare that, because that's what I'm saying.
They're trying to say that video is reminiscent. They're trying to say she's Mike Tyson and he's Robin Givens. When I say she's getting backlash, she's getting backlash. So all of this stuff is coming up. However, getting back to your original question, I think it's clear. Let me take that back. It's not clear. I think it's safe to say he was going through something. Not only that, he was always a little off. We just ain't know what the offness was. And then also as a boxer, just like NFL players, they get hit in their head. That CTE stuff and is real. And I think if we'd have known more about the conditions that happen to athletes mentally and what their brain endures. Can you imagine being punched in your fucking head for years at a time? This is how you make your money. So even though I'm knocking people out, I might gotta take a couple of. Can you imagine? And at that time, back then, there wasn't as many safety cautionary rules in place to protect from concussions or the medical needs. It was like they would just get up and they were still boxing and or playing with the concussions, making things worse. And the thing about CTE, they don't really know until after death. So it's a lot to unpack, I think, with like the Mike Tysons and all of that. So I really think there's a deeper picture because I mean we're not going to ignore it came out that he had a hand problem. But yeah, I think it was definitely something. He probably gonna have a whole nother story coming out because what we're seeing is more people and especially men either in a certain type of celebrity status or some type of athlete, they're coming out with what they deal with mentally. And some people are like, oh my God, not this person, because we tend to idolize people and think because they have this status or because they have millionaires, we think they got it all together. We don't think that they don't got nothing going on. They can't possibly deal with mental health. Mental health does not have a financial bracket. And we see that every day. It doesn't have a race, color, or anything. I think people need to be more educated. I think more awareness needs to go out. Like people need to know about like the SAMHSA hotlines and the websites and all that things to go on because the information is there. And I honestly and truthfully, this probably get ready to go a little bit off. I think everybody should at least talk to someone at least once to see how you feel afterwards. You know what I mean? Like talk therapy is great. And it's always not about medication. Sometimes it's about having that outlet to let life out. Like me personally, I do therapy. And I deal with anxiety, PTSD, all of that stuff. And this was just something new for me and dealing with like grief, depression, and everything like that. It's really helpful and everything. Not everybody needs medicine. Sometimes the talk therapy, the tools is like great. I highly I'm a spokesperson, especially for talk therapy, especially for having that non-biased person, because a lot of times your friends and family are not the best people to share your mental health with.
Sometimes there's a reason why you need to go talk to
it. Y'all can either call the crisis hotline, you can text the crisis hotline if you feel like, and you can also call for other people. You can dial *988. I promise you, it'll be great.
All I gotta say about the Mike Tyson thing is, Mike, my guy, we always do something was a little something. He had something going on. Mike was Mike. He bit an ear off, like a piece of it in a fight.
That wasn't no piece. That thing was like from here to here.
He bit the ear. Mike was unhinged, and then he was boxing in an era where they pretty boxing now. We were fortunate to grow up at a time where they had to create the rules because the way they were boxing. Yeah. So something definitely wrong with Mike. You know?
It's Paul for me. Paul is tablet.
I'm just keeping it real, man. Because Paulo ain't lying. Think about it. Remember they was in there fighting. He was like, hold on, wait. Mike bit my ear. Yeah, man. Mike. Yeah. And he kind of opened about some stuff too. Mike Tyson don't really hide, who he is. Like, for real, he don't hide. Yeah, he don't hide. He funny as hell. I like Mike Tyson. I really like him. So I don't
that superstardom was forced on him basically early at an early age when he became the champion, the world champion. And then the shit just everything just started coming at him real hard and fast. Because he was, like he said, he was a little thug from Brownsville.
And then he got locked up. Then he supposed to hit his woman or something. Then he hit somebody. I don't know what Mike did. Mike was always in the news.
Mike was fucking robbing up.
Mike was always in the news.
Yeah, he was. I mean, she was really going through something, but I think because how it was presented and how our family presented, the money aspect of it highlighted, and I think it overshadowed what she endured during that marriage. And even like we joke about it, he was fucking hot. Like
yeah, no,
he was really fucking hot, which is never okay. And the mental health part is not like an excuse. Even like the lady, the answer J Bed question in a comment, when was this, the lady Bianca Ellis, who recently stood trial, was found guilty on all charges. She's due to be sentenced October 27th. That stabbed a young boy. Like, you still have to be accountable for your actions. Like, she pled insanity and everything. Have a good day. The judge was still like, yeah, all right, well, you still gonna get, yeah. And she was found guilty, but I think it's just important to know, like, even though people need treatment, we still gotta hold people accountable.
Yes.
That doesn't excuse his behavior. And sometimes people know that there's something on, and honestly and truthfully, I'm not trying to make excuses for people. Some people are really afraid to get help because sometimes the not knowing is the scariest part, not knowing what to expect. Because even before personal experience, personal moment, before even I got into therapy, I dealt with a lot of stuff with like the death of my brother and my grandmother. I dealt with grief for years. And a lot of people are like, it's been this long, you should be over it. Some people, you know what I mean? Because people don't know. And I was like, and I held all of that in and not knowing how trauma works. You feel me? So until I was like, fuck it. You know, I had opened up to my doctor, and then my doctor recommended my therapist. And then I was doing like grief counseling. And it was very helpful. And then sometimes I was just talking about life, and it was like, oh, okay. And then when I had the accident, it was like I started experiencing other things that I had never experienced. Sometimes people think that you're supposed to have these moments when you're young, and you can have an onset of anything at any time in your life. It does not have an age. So after the car accident that I was in December, I started to go through things I never experienced as far as like anxiety. It was showing up in places where I never knew that it would show up. Where I was scared to get into a car. The people around me could not understand that, but I was truly in fear. Like can you imagine needing to go somewhere and you scared? I'm like shaking, and it was a mess. So my therapy had to change. And then I had to and then not knowing when you have years of things and certain things that just you thinking it's just normal everyday life can be traumatic experiences. And a lot of us suffer from PTSD and don't even know it. But that's when I say talk therapy is a blessing. It's a blessing. They give you the tools and everything that you need. And I say all that to say is sometimes people dealing with stuff and they thinking it's just life, and they never get the help that they need because everybody tell people to get over it. Stop telling people to get over stuff and really get the treatment. Like, and then you won't, I mean, maybe we can have less of the people like this lady that was walking in a supermarket with a butcher knife, waving it around, and nobody did anything. We are so conditioned to turn a blind eye, and then when shit happened, it's the woulda, shoulda, coulda. When well, what did you do when you know what I mean? People walk past that lady in that supermarket waving that fucking knife. She could have killed anybody. So a 3-year-old child lost their life because this lady was taking her medication. Crazy.
Well, listen, I need y'all to remember too now, to get back to Mike Tyson for a minute. Remember now, he had to deal with Ruth Roper as well. So he had a little extra stress on his plate. So I think he might have been having quite a few episodes. Because Mike, like you said, they said he was manic depressive. That's my first time ever really hearing that at that time in my life, manic depressive.
You know, I wanted to say that too. I at one point in time, it was most people couldn't feel comfortable with expressing that they felt like they was going through some kind of mental health something. It's fortunate that in 2025 you can damn near be comfortable with anything or uncomfortable with anything. Nowadays and speak about it, but to actually go through like things and feel different or crazy, off, have a bad day. People get offensive by the word crazy. Like, no, I might be having a crazy day. I might feel crazy today. I feel off. I feel little, you feel me? You couldn't say that at one point in time. Remember the witch trials, just in general, like they was experimenting on people with mental illness, before they actually treated it like, a regular disease. Like, if you was gay, they was, doing things, sending you, they was treating that, going to try to, make you straight, doing experiments where you make you straight. So people were treated cruelly if you opened up about having a mental illness. And now you can be more comfortable and there's more avenues of getting treatment. It's just about, so that brings me to a lot of the older generation won't feel as comfortable as a lot of the younger generation going to do. They gotta step into, like kind of try it out, because they're not used to that. You feel me? When you grow up under certain ways, you gotta kind of come out of that. It's the same thing like in the community. If you've been hiding in the closet for so long, even though most people walk down the street holding hands, you still see some of the gay couples still kind of, especially the older ones, because they're not used to that. So a lot of people aren't used to it, and no offense, a lot of people who need the help won't go get it because they are accustomed to dealing with it.
I agree. And I think also like what we're seeing now, even just to piggyback off the Gucci Man interview, even with them exposing their truth and how they manage, there's a lot of backlash, and that can also prevent people from wanting to get help because they're like, well, shit, if I go get help, what the fuck they gonna say about me? Or even, you know what I mean? People, if somebody know, like, oh my God, because people think if you say you talk to a therapist, oh, that motherfucker crazy as a bitch, and people label you like that when it's like, no, sometimes people just need an outlet, and it's just like the labels are what discourage people from getting the help that they need.
Yeah. Like I say, he reached that point where he decided, I gotta have it done. I gotta get the help I need. That's how people gotta look at it. And then when they reach that point, are they able to get the help once they reach that point? That's another thing, because once you reach that point and there's nowhere for you to get that help at, you basically going back again, reverting. And that leads up to the chaos that Jude mentioned, because like you said, that's what they want, chaos. And they got that created right now. Nobody's paying attention. It's chaos going on right now with all these homeless people out here in the street going with all these mental illness. They try to put on the drug use. It's not only drug use. Not only drug use, like I keep trying to tell people. You got 3 different type of people out here on these streets. You got people that's out here on the drugs. You got people out here that's mentally unstable. You got people out here that's homeless. You got people that can be all 3. You got people that can be 2 of them in any combination. You can't pile everything to one thing and think you're going to solve a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have taken away all the places where people can get help, and you know this. So you keeping these people out here in the street where it's gonna really get dangerous. With the not nobody gonna be. Oh man, chaos. But you know we gotta hold it in the road. But it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something like Bernie Mac said in what was it, Players Club? It's gonna be trouble, 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 trouble. Whatever the hell.
Do we have anything else on this one before I introduce the next topic?
Nah.
Okay. All right, Rich. I'm gonna do the disclaimer real quick. So before we go into this one, because I gotta do a reminder to this to make sure that I don't want them blocking this video. So copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a permitted use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, education, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. We are using this video for fair use. So in the introductory to this video is that we're going to talk about Trump's BS. Roll the clip, Rich.
Asking the Justice Department to look into the federal investigations into you and look for compensation, and how much are you asking for?
Who's asking for what?
Are you asking the Justice Department to pay you compensation for
compensation?
Your federal investigations into you? Are you asking them to pay compensation, and how much?
Into me? I don't get any compensation. I do it for nothing. I gave up my salary. Into me?
No, it's going to be the Justice Department. Are you asking them to pay you compensation for the federal investigations that happened to you? And how much are you asking for?
Well, I guess they probably owe me a lot of money for that. Probably, yeah, that's true. That's very interesting. No, I get no salary. I gave up my salary. It's a good salary. Not as much as these guys make, but that's okay. It's a lot of money. And I don't, as you know, I didn't take it in the first 4 years. I'm not taking it in these 4 years either. But as far as all of the litigation and everything that's been involved, yeah, they probably owe me a lot of money. But if I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House where we restore the White House. And we're doing a great job in the White House. As you know, the ballroom is under construction. It's going to be, they've been trying to get it for 150 years. And it's really, I think it's going to be fantastic. But we'll see what happens. We have numerous cases having to do with the fraud of the election, the 2020 election, and because of everything that we found out, I guess they owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for really, I think it's got to be handled in a proper way. If it's not handled in a proper way, we don't want it to happen again. We can never let what happened in the 2020 election happen again. We just can't let that happen. And so the way we go, I know Cash is working on it. Everybody's working on it, and certainly Tulsi's working on it. We can't let that happen again to our country. Look at what's happened where you have millions of people being allowed to come into our country, all because of a crooked election, where they come from prisons, they come from jails, they come from mental institutions and insane asylums, they're drug dealers. The people that they've allowed to come into our country. We cleaned them out in Washington, D.C. We have a very safe capital right now. We have a capital that's as safe as it can be. But I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask the lawyers about that.
Who want to go first? Because y'all look so enthused. I mean, don't everybody speak at once.
I know Jude gonna tell my brand new one. So I'm gonna go ahead and say something real quick and short.
Go ahead, Paul. I'm on mute.
Yeah.
I want to get you guys to
No wonder.
So I thought this clip was perfect outline of his delusion. 1, 2, he was being investigated because he was committing crimes, but because a lot of the problem with the judicial system and how the laws are done And because he's a sitting president, he's doing all this stuff because he know they cannot continue and hold him accountable because he's a freaking sitting president. And then you gonna sit there and say, I found the wrong clip. I need to find the right one to say that he felt like he was old and he got to see how much he going to write out for his compensation. Nigga, you want reparations? I digress. Go ahead, Jude.
Oh. You had me on mute. You had me on mute.
Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
Well, I know it wasn't Coco that she had me on mute because I thought something was wrong. Because I wanted to go for Jude with him a brand new one. Because I got to make something real quick and short. I don't even know. I see why they don't want the press people in there writing nothing else other than what the hell they want released. Because sitting around talking to this man, he makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. Motherfucker, you know you need that money. You've been about money ever since you got into the damn presidential seat. You done read the shit so you get in there and keep your ass out of jail to get paid. Anything that you do, you done had the Supreme Court give you carte blanche for any damn thing you want to do while you a sitting president, because you're doing it in the act of your presidency. Some bullshit. And it must be something. It must be something that these people are smoking. It's got to be something that they smoking for them to be falling for this shit. Oh man, it gives me a headache. Here, I gotta take a hit. Go ahead, Jude.
Paul, my great aunt Whitney, said crack is whack, but that is definitely the crack that is going on in the White House right there. I don't have much to say because old rooster neck anal lip wig gets on my absolute nerves. First of all, she asked him one question and he could not really answer. All he had to do was say yes. I am going to rob this country of every fucking dollar I can. I'm going to destroy the White House. You know, all right. Before like 2 months ago, a month ago, I just noticed that I had to buy Idiocracy to watch it because it was not available anywhere. They did not want us to see that fucking movie. I watched it when it first came out, but any fucking way, it is available for all to see because the publics want us to make sure we understand where we is going. This motherfucker here is sitting in the White House. Look at us in our face. Playing with the country's money. And people is still backing him. He said he was not going to touch the White House when he built that goddamn ballroom. And I if I'm wrong, I apologize. But who the fuck else wanted that ballroom? Who else wanted the ballroom? I want to know, since it was many, many people and they've been trying to get it for many, many fucking years. Who the fuck else want the ballroom? I know Shell and them ain't want that goddamn ballroom. Who else? Coco, who else wanted the goddamn ballroom?
He said he needed the ballroom to entertain.
He said many, many people wanted. They've been trying to get it for all. What did he say? How many 150 years?
Party. That's what he said. They needed a space to party. If you read between the lines, when he said a space was needed for entertainment, and when they have events for people to be comfortable.
I'm curious. When they were showing that on the news, and he said they weren't going to touch the White House or none of that around there. Who was they knocking out over there? What was that? What wall was that they was knocking out?
That was the apartment next door. That was the guest White House.
The guest White House. Okay.
Listen. Also, Trump America's.
He's going to pause for them to come. Cause that's what he said. cars to have their little big dinners and stuff and celebrations.
Where do y'all think he is getting the money? Where y'all think is that the money he collected with all the other shutdowns and things he did? The money that he's supposed to took back, what do they call it?
That's money that they're not paying all of these government people with.
The spending
fired. So that's where that money is going.
Yeah, that's going to
he's saving the country. That's the money, but he's spending taxpayer money.
I know.
But they said it was his money.
He ain't got no government money. He got a billion. But
Mr. Bankrupt himself ain't got. I mean, he got money, but
he ain't got that much money.
Hello, Jay. Welcome to the show.
What's up, fam?
Hi, Jay.
Hey, what up, Paul? G.
Jay, he do got that much money. He got America's money. You know,
he said on the news. He said on the news. He said, "This is the money they owe me. This is the money that when they went in my mansion, when they raided my mansion in Miami, that money was the money they took or something." He said it out his own mouth, but he said also that he took. It's just funny though because the White House ain't his property. And then you got to get approval through the people and voted in the congressman. I mean, he knocked down that wall.
Why you not came up?
Huh?
Why you not came up?
Because I'm
What? That's all the new rule. You gonna have to came up. You don't look good. We know everybody know who they talking to.
Wait a minute. First of all, that response said it all. That response said all. That mind, no. Do that.
Oh, you know what? Okay, hold on.
We'll want no sexual chocolate no more here.
I don't want to criticize. Look, I'm gonna be good today. I'm good today, Your Honor. But yeah, he said it. I really hate the man. I mean,
me too.
Hate is such a shame. Let's say dislike. Don't get nobody that much power.
True. Well, I don't like that one's peeling, but he said it, and I don't know. But every day he got something new going on. I mean, all that money he said he getting that money from other people, so I really think he get money from Russia. And,
no, he don't even want him and Putin. That's at odds. And he said because Putin is that they was trying to set up something. He said it's no point. It's no point.
J-Bam, he giving money to Russia. He giving money to everybody but the American peoples.
That's what I agree with you. I agree with you.
You talking about you think he getting it?
Speaking of the American people, I'm gonna just merge this in because we're running into the last half hour mark. So speaking of the American people, I'm glad you said that. So we can still talk about this BS that he's doing because this is still considered Trump's BS, which is the topic. Due to the government shutdown, we know that several government employees, military, airport workers, so many people are being affected, not being paid, pretty much working for free, or they just say affected. We're not coming to work. So we are seeing changes within like our airports, things like that. But the most important thing that people are not talking about is the benefits that Americans are losing now, currently, because you have so many governing agencies that, like, for us, like SNAP, healthcare, things like that, they are working on pretty much going into their reserve fund or functioning out of their reserve fund. So you see a lot of Americans that's currently losing benefits or potentially could lose benefits next month, which means not only do we have the holidays coming up, but you have 42 million Americans that receive SNAP benefits who are at risk of not getting those benefits. So that includes disabled Americans, not only just, the people, people on disability, elderly, could not see those benefits. Or you may see higher premiums in your healthcare, or those who are on Medicaid, if they work or do anything else, they may have to pay a premium. So those changes are coming. Eligibility requirements are changing now. So I wanted to get you guys on how this is affecting us and what do you think is going to come? Because I really don't see this ending anytime soon, because the politicians, I think they could, but I get why certain ones are being stubborn, because they don't want to continue with the ACA, which is the health, the Affordable Care Act. They don't want to they want everyone to pay for the insurance, which I agree with you. You're going to see an uptick in mental health crises, an uptick in people going to the ED and can't afford it, an uptick of people in debt, people just not getting the treatment and the services that they need for chronic illnesses and like terminal illnesses. So there's a lot at stake right now. And with this being shut down, it's not helping. But the conflict that I really have is that how in the world is the Congress and the council people, politicians are still being paid, but government workers are not. And then if you're furloughed, you don't get back pay. No.
They got some kind of thing. I looked that up. They got some. Yeah, excuse me, because I was curious about that. They got some kind of fund established for Congress people to get paid outside of government money. So while everybody else in the government is not getting paid, that fund is that so-called fund is providing payment for them. So it's got to be a lot of money in that fund. I keep saying fund, but this so-called fund for them to be getting paid.
I think the grant is.
Let me say one more thing before you say something, because this government shutdown. Now they say this is the second longest government shutdown in history. Now, the first one was back in 2020 under Donald Trump, was the longest one. See, this is the shit that they do. They come there, rake in their money, and get the gravy train rolling their way, and then you come back and shoot these dumbass people a little stimulus check for about $1,200-$1,500, or say, oh yeah, he loves us. Man, these people keep drinking that same shit, and the same shit keep happening. This time he just got an earlier jump on their ass, and he's gonna take the country down through there just like he done that damn USFL, just like he done all his other damn business right down the fucking drain. You don't even hear too much about the terrorists no more, but watch what's going to happen with the terrorists. Watch what's going to happen with that, when nobody get no EBT and all that shit. I seen this AI video the other day, and it showed people pushing grocery carts full of motherfucking groceries out of grocery stores. I mean, everybody's just pushing grocery carts out of grocery stores. The shit gonna happen when the shit hit the fan, because people gonna have to eat. People gonna eat. And they're gonna have that chaos. There go your chaos. More chaos, remember? Think about that. Keep that chaos in mind. Chaos coming in stages.
All right, China said they don't care.
China, they just gonna increase their prices because they still gonna be cheap. But I think the grant that Paul was talking about, I think that's how they're trying to pay the military, because it was a big thing about the military not being paid. And I know that they're in negotiations about making sure the military get paid, but they're not trying to pay like government employees. And then
no, people at the White House not getting paid.
Yeah, but if they're furloughed, they're trying to say they're not getting no back pay. So it's only certain groups, from my understanding. I could be wrong.
Democrats. Tell it like it is. He don't like Democrats. So they the ones. They the ones.
I feel like
he blame all this on Democrats.
Well, he can't, because according to him, back in another video, can't remember what year, but he said when there's a government shutdown, he don't blame anybody for it but the president. It is the president's fault for the government shutdown. And then he went on with a whole spill about why. But the main part of that is when there's a government shutdown, in Donald Trump's opinion, it's the president's fault that the government is shut down. No, out of his mouth himself, when he was not president, or even probably when he was, because he be saying shit while he's the president. But he said that when the government shut down, it's the president's fault. So why the fuck is the government shut down? Well, because Donald Trump liked to outdo himself. And the last time he shut the government down for 30 days. When this first happened and we talked about the last time, I said that, and then I have read the list about who, because Obama is on the list, Clinton, think Bush. You feel me? But a government shutdown usually lasts like a couple days. You feel me? It don't really never last like weeks. Like 30 days. So he had 30 days, and he liked to do things really, really big because he, the most original president that you never seen nothing like this before. So when he get out the office, he want to make sure that we are in the Great fucking Depression. The country is going to be in debt. He's going to be the first president that had the 2 longest shutdowns and 2 terms during his term. He doing all the checks of being the first to ever truly fuck the country, and with a smile on the face as a criminal.
This is his 4th shutdown, right?
No, it's the second.
No, it's the second, but it's the longest shutdowns when he's been in office. It may seem like 4 because of the but no, this is the second, because the first one, it was the same thing. Like, it was over 30 days. And his thing is he don't give a shit. He's not even trying to talk to nobody until they figure it out. And I understand why the Democrats are holding out, because they're mainly holding out on the healthcare piece, which is really crucial. It's really crucial. They don't want to, and I'm gonna just say I see certain things happening now, and it's only because of my profession. That's really unfortunate, and that's really fair. If these things continue, we are definitely in trouble. And my other point that I wanted to make, I've been saying this like for the last couple of weeks now. If nobody believed Project 2025, I want to say a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago, here on this platform, we have been discussing certain things when it comes to Project 2025 and this whole, if he was to come in office. And everybody was saying, oh, it's a conspiracy, it's not going to happen, yada, yada. And I'm going to take this time to say we told you so, because we did, and we are currently living in Project 2025. And it's not going to get better.
And the craziest part about it all is they going to take this part out the history books.
Yeah, I believe that.
I believe that. Them look good. So Jay, I know you came in kind of late. Do you have any thought? I'm sorry. Well, I know we're here, but do you have any thoughts on anything that was discussed, or do you have anything on this? And then we gonna get the call.
Got nothing on it. Man, we just fucked right now. I just feel bad, for our country right now. Like, I really feel bad, because I talked to a lady today, and she said, "Whew, what I'm gonna do with my kids when they can't get nothing to eat?" That kind of touched me, man. That's like, and that was the day on my way home. She like, she don't know how to provide for her kids. She's dependent on that EBT and all this, man. It's like, I don't know. Everything y'all touched everything. That's it. But I heard that today. That kind of touched me.
But I think that's also important, because people who receive the assistance, the majority may not have the other means of like working and stuff like that. They're trying to force people on disability to work, the elderly to go back to work. It's so many different things. But just to increase, so we have 42 million Americans currently on SNAP benefits. If you eliminate these programs, you eliminate jobs. So you have people who work on these agencies. If this was to happen, that can also add to that list. So, which also you're going to see an uptick in crime. You're going to see it because, like Paul said, people got to eat. And when people starving and you desperate times call for desperate measures, you're going to see an increase in a lot of things. And low key starting to see it now, and it's just like And then he's also in retaliation mode from the No King protest because he feels like he's been attacked, and so he know he's losing the support. Like Paul said, you see a lot of the Republican people who are also, anytime I'm siding with Marjorie, you know we in hard times. It's the problem. Anytime Marjorie is making sense, Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, is
I
making
agree with
sense,
that.
we know we are in bad times. Anytime the Democrats and Marjorie Taylor Greene is on the same page, we are in hard times, and we gotta freaking wake up. So right now, unfortunately, we have a president that know he's in a position of power, and that certain things that he felt like he can finagle and manipulate. And now that he know the country is turning against him, he don't give a fuck because he's still going to eat.
Yep. Watch you eat turkey on Thanksgiving and watch when people not eating. I mean, that remind me of that movie Judge Dredd when everybody was eating good food up top and Paul was eating rats and stuff. Man, I mean, wow. Christmas and Thanksgiving ain't gonna be the same. That's all. Well, he told us
Like,
what?
how do we come out of it? But and that's why I think community is important. Like, and I think we got to really get into. We have to really brighten up and get into community. But like, how do you bounce back, or how? What happens like if nothing goes in effect and they say, okay, we got to open up the government, but we got to do away with, let's say, Medicaid services or healthcare, and everybody got to pay a premium regardless of your income, which a lot of people are starting to see now. If you have a job right now, they want you to pay a premium. They're making you go to the marketplace. You feel me? So now people are battling, do I get health insurance or do I eat? Do I pay rent? You get what I mean? So now that choice is getting really hard because people who want a fixed income, who may was getting extra assistance for as like SNAP benefits or things like that. Now you talking about increasing their premium. They're already just imagine somebody who may get, let's just say $300 a month. That's their cap. That may be their TDEP or something like that. So now you want to take away health insurance and they gotta pay a premium. Let's say the premium is $60. So what you working with $240? You still got to eat. You can't eat because you ain't getting no SNAP. You still got to pay BG&E. You got to live. We're going to see. We're going to be like in a purge.
They say they stopping the gas and electric help too.
They don't have no money. Those are all funded. Like, even though certain refunds come from, we're like, okay, that's the state. That's the state. State got to get money from somewhere. That's why you see the governors are being more outspoken, because even though they have reserve money, when you start going into that, you gotta ask for more money. They still gotta get money.
It's gonna be more fires.
Controls that. So, and then gas, again, then like I don't know what everybody else, wherever you at, call it, but like here, BGE, Baltimore Gas and Electric, they can go up again.
Yeah.
So don't have no fucking don't, if OHAP doesn't have any money.
BGE already had, and first of all, to deliver the gas or whatever, the delivery fee is higher than the bill. My bill be saying I use about $30-something in the electricity. The delivery fee be like 60-something. Why it cost so much to deliver? I couldn't come pick it up.
And how you delivering from the sun? Don't you get it from the solar system? And that's why a lot of people, even because it's an increase in price for solar panels. That's why people are getting solar homes to try to avoid that. But then to get that done, that's an uptick in price as well, because it's energy saving. But first of all, no, I don't agree with none of this. And then you keep it because there's no cap on none of this. Just like rent prices, everything is going up, but pay. And then the companies are saying, oh, we don't have any money. We don't either. But you want us to come to work. So the workload is increasing because you have more people seeking help from different places. And if you work in healthcare, what you're gonna do is see more people being EP, more people going in through, because mental health is just we saw it during COVID. During COVID, people was having episodes who never experienced the episode a day in their life. Hard times trigger people, and people go through. Yeah, it's bad. I'm scared.
I've been
I know one
scared
thing.
since he ran for president because he's a
Yeah, 4 years ago he told us, he said he gonna fuck it up. He gonna retaliate. He gonna do all that shit when he get in office. He said it.
and we knew it off the ass on his lips.
Yeah,
I don't know why people thought he was lying. Like, he literally sat and told us exactly who he was. What okay, I know this about to piss some people off. What I don't understand is how some of us, especially African Americans and brown people,
Stop calling them African American.
voted for him, knowing he sat there and said exactly what his intentions are. But you have so many people that was going up for him, and y'all acting like this is new. He told you exactly who the fuck he was. He told you exactly what his intent was when he got into office. They even let out a pamphlet that half of the people did not read, which was Project 2025. It was online in detail what their agenda was. And I be damned, we only 10 months in. Oh, we just getting started.
Is it true that they said the asset files, they can't find it all of a sudden?
Oh, they can find it. Everything else is just smoke and mirrors. They can find it. All of them is on it. That's probably the problem.
Donald Trump was a mess the first time. But this country built on so much hate. A lot of people, we've hated a lot of things that, or disliked a lot of things that a lot of the former presidents did. But what started this race war was Obama actually getting into office and getting in there and doing it, contrary to popular demand, but like he did it so gracefully. He wasn't he was a good president, but the fact that he was a black man that got in there with a name like Osama bin Laden, it just started a whole heap of things when it comes to this foolery. They needed to take back America and all this stuff, and it's now it's like a big joke for real. It's like we're looking crazy. Everybody fussing and complaining, and they over there beefing, but they still pointing the stuff over at us, but they are beefing hard. Like the Republicans, it's so many of them that don't agree with so much, because so many things have happened to them. I think everybody was so focused on being a Republican or a Democrat that everybody forgot what happens in America affects Americans. And when it started affecting everybody, and let me say this with my camera on. Where is the money they collected from all that unnecessary government spending? Because it seems like it's a lot of unnecessary government spending going on right now. And I'm a little confused.
In Argentina, Israel, what's the other place? The place that they building the motherfucking base over here. Them motherfuckers there. That's where all the money going to. All that surplus money is going to them. But let me say this before I forget, because y'all know I got ADH. Money is going to them. If y'all haven't been paying attention, one thing that's you're not hearing much about anymore. At least I haven't been hearing much about it. because I guess nobody's in the shape to really do anything, and that is the GoFundMe. So I would be advising people to be trying to get them some life insurance, take some of that money that you're spending and wasting, and get your ass some life insurance, because y'all can see GoFundMe has disappeared. Now, back to what you're saying, Jude. I want to get that in there.
What were we saying?
You got ADHD too.
I had some ADHD too. This little bit. Yeah, no, I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like
It's open forum right now, so we got 10 minutes left, so y'all can talk about whatever.
Yeah, I don't like him. I absolutely do not like him. I do not agree with what most this stuff that he doing. I absolutely blame the president because he is the forefront of most of this foolishness, and he said that it's the president's fault. So I'm gonna listen to him on this because I believe, and for the one time I do believe something. I believe this. It is absolutely his fault. He is not lying. And we, like Coco said, we told y'all so, and I absolutely do not like Donald Trump.
So
how many people?
What about the people he killed in Velas? Well, I don't know if I'm
Oh,
saying it
they
right.
blowing up in the ships without any evidence.
Killed
They
them
just
people,
having target practice on people out there in them boats. That's sad.
He told the military to use us as practice, so I am not surprised. I am absolutely not surprised.
Yeah, man, this mother out here killing people. He out here killing people. I can't believe it, but I mean, I can because that's what they doing. And nobody is actually intimidated by him. You don't hear nobody talking nothing about saying anything about him. Remember, we ain't even paying attention. We moving on without you. That's basically what I'm seeing. People say, "Hey, we moving right on without you." America is not so great anymore.
It ain't. Part of me thinks that he's.
Bosco. Oh Lord, here he
Excuse
go.
you. You need yourself. I was talking. Every time he come here, that's why I don't give you the link. But no, what I was saying was, I feel like part of the reason why he's deploying like the National Guard to all of these different cities, he know what's coming, and he know that we're pissed. He's already trying to have him there, but how they're doing this whole deportation and immigration thing is completely fucked. I don't know if you guys saw, it was they shot somebody, like a lady or something. Like it's becoming extremely volatile, and because of all of these laws and all of these things, and especially with this shutdown, the tariffs and everything else that's being put in place, I think he's already trying to have things put in place because he know that everybody get ready to go off.
That's why. Back to the numbers you quoted. Coco.
So Coco, you saying, all right, what they call that thing called? No, I didn't. My bad. Sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
No, well, go ahead. 'Cause I wanted to go back. I wanted to go back to the numbers that you quoted about the people being on SNAP. You said it was about 42 million, right? And it was about how many people voted for him? He claimed in the election 71 million.
Yeah.
So these 42 million people that's getting ready to lose these benefits, y'all need to think about this shit. That's over half of the votes that he had that elected him. So some of you 42 million people voted for this clown, and you gonna get something you wasn't expecting. So I want to throw that in there because you did mention them numbers. I want to throw that in there. Go ahead, Jay.
What Coco was saying about the military, I think because they already raided people in New York and them big cities, what they call the Democrat cities. So I can't martial law. That's what they think he preparing for. Because now you saying, remember you saying the rise? Because I saw it on Facebook. A young man was saying he worked for Walmart. They already came in his store, looted it out. They had to shut the store down, and so I said the same thing. I think he's ready to set martial law, and like Jude said, and within our own country, he's ready to start war.
And it's already happening. Everybody kept saying like, oh, it's no civil war, it's not going to be no race war. But what do you see an incline of? You see more people living in their truth of their true prejudice. And let's be clear, you have racism and you have prejudice. It's way more prejudiced people than racist people.
Yes.
And granted, everybody has something, and I think that's a fine line that people have a misperception of. It's prejudice and racism. And a lot of people are basing um like it just said, like their votes and everything like that based on their prejudices and what they feel about people. So you see an increase of that. So you see people standing up for like, oh no, this is not the box that we're falling in, and this is not a third. But which the one thing I can say that with this presidency is it's exposing people true feelings and who they are. And so when you see people in their true feelings, so now you see more people like, oh shit, you get what I mean? And honestly, I do think that's what he's setting up because he knows. Again, if you never read Project 2025, you need to go read it because we're actually in it. Everybody thought that shit was a game. We sat here and we talked about it. And everybody said we was bullshit. Everybody said it was a conspiracy. We didn't know what we was talking about. We just over jumping the gun. Everything that was factual was clearly right there. All you had to do was read it. And we've always said sometimes instead of Googling and watching the short clips, read it. Like Judah called me all the time, like, yo, I read this article. Like, did you see this? I read up this, I did that. And the facts is in our face. And when what's happening now is everything is in our face, but you still have a large group of people who don't want to believe it until they are directly affected. And now America is directly affected. So a lot of people who took that vote for him is directly affected, and now they know the shit is stinking.
They knew that prior to they was out there motherfucking trash bags. They knew this shit was they knew this whole term was finna be trash and full of shit. He had them out there. Y'all remember? With the trash bags on.
In DC, right?
Wasn't they was voting.
They was everywhere.
They were voting.
Yeah.
In trash bags. Look it up when the show up. Look it up. They was out there in trash bags. So they already knew that he was full of shit and he always on some shit. He always I mean I feel like this. Some people, y'all know me, I go hard for Baltimore all the time, even though people give Baltimore is, slack. I'm always gonna go hard for the teams, whatever, So I guess them motherfuckers is over there, they started with it, they gotta rock out with it. It's a lot of motherfuckers over there struggling. So I just want to say, if you need some help, just blink. If you're a Republican that's stuck on the other side and can't,
see me blinking.
Right, you're not a Republican. If you're a Republican, and if Donald Trump supporter, and you fell victim of the conspiracy of his Ponzi scheme, because that's exactly what this is.
Yep.
Reach out to your nearest Republican. We might be able to. I'm a Democrat. We might be able to save you.
Unfortunately, we have come to an end. But I think we came to a great end. So I'm gonna just wrap up real quick. So at the beginning of the show, we talked about Mitch McConnell and his shit. Mitch McConnell needs to go. He needs to be home. He needs to retire and enjoy the rest of the time that he has left here on this earth. I strongly encourage the government to do what's right and to set him down. He needs to set down because that was secondhand embarrassment. And this country is a laughing stock, and that pretty much showed why this country is the laughing stock of the world today. Secondly, the Gucci Mane interview, great interview. If you have not checked out the Gucci Mane interview with Keisha Kaur, please go check that out. The mental health awareness that was all up and through that interview was amazing. Try to have an open mind. If you're dealing with mental health, if you are in crisis, please know you can always call or text 988. If you're not comfortable with talking to someone, 988 is a crisis hotline. You will talk to a licensed therapist. It's not AI. It's not any of that. You will get a licensed therapist. Also visit SAMHSA. You can Google SAMHSA and you can see what's available in your area. Also reach out to your local health departments to see what mental health program, support groups, things like that that's available wherever you live. It's really, really helpful. If you struggle from like auditory hallucinations, depression, grief, all of that stuff, just check on your mental health. Even when you see your primary care doctor, if you're not sure if you're having a mental health crisis or if you're dealing with mental health, just talk to your primary care doctor and they can guide you in the right direction. If you don't have a primary care doctor, get one. It's important. Your overall health is important, not just your mental health. What else did we talk about? Also, Trump and his bullshit. Keep up with what's going on. If you don't believe things are happening and things are changing and you will be directly affected, you're sadly mistaken. Every citizen in the United States is going to be directly affected. I encourage everyone to keep up what's going on in your government locally, on a city level, on a state level, and in a federal level. Everything is public. You can literally see the sessions when they're even on the shutdown, what they're voting on, how they're doing it. If you're a person that claims, oh, I'm traveling and I'm seeing the world, understand how they feel about you before you go there. I encourage you to do your research. So with that being said, that was the nice show. I think it was a great show. It was very educational. Very alert. If you have any questions, please follow all of us. We're all on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, everything, and this as such. And you can DM anybody if you have any questions. Also, if you're watching us on the replay, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, Jude. You're always amazing. Thank you, Paul. Of course, you know we love you. And check out Paul on YouTube, going to Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Okay. So he not only up here talking about it, he walking it like he talking. Thank you, Jay, for being one of our #1 supporters. And also, lately, you've been trying to come up here, so we appreciate that. And also, just sometimes in good fun and also dealing with great topics. Thank you, Idris Salam, aka Bosco, for joining in. Thank you again. He was in a comment section. I think I saw Levette. I think I saw who did I see? I saw a couple of people. Thank you, Nia. That's Jude Boo. Her boo thing was all up in the comment section. Shannon is getting us these little views. Shout out to special shout out to Rich Hand Radio, who's always behind the boards. He's always engineering, and he knew what to do with the videos that I sent them that helped to tell me if you like tonight's show, if that's something that we could do again moving forward, leading into the topics. I think it was great, but also he's also been a great mentor and listening ear throughout this process. So thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. We love you. Bye.
In a minute.